Connecting to Earth. Connection established. You are now streaming.
Are you ready to question everything? This is a show all about questioning beliefs, and I'm taking you on the journey with me. Today's topic, astrology, aka the Zodiac. Who discovered astrology, and exactly how does it work? How does the motion of the planets and the stars affect a human's personality? Today, we're going to find out. We're going to get right back to the show, ladies and gentlemen, but first, please take a moment to hit the like button.
Push the button.
If it's your first time here, hit the subscribe button.
Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push the button.
If you're already subscribed, make sure you hit the little bell icon. That way you get a notification every time we post a new video.
Push the goddamn button.
Push the goddamn button.
You heard what she said.
Calling Dr. Honey.
Hey, Dr. Honey. Look, sorry it took me so long to hit you back. I've been out of town. But I'm on my way back right now, and I was wondering if I could come pick you up and take you on that date we were talking about.
I don't date Virgo men.
What? Really? Why not?
I don't find my sign works particularly well with these signs, and I don't really work very well with them in a relationship. As friends.
Nah, I don't do all that friend zone stuff. Why don't you date Virgos?
Why I don't date the Virgo man? I'll start off by giving off my little experience with them, right? So I dated a Virgo man when I was like 18 years old. This was a very long time ago. And the relationship lasted like 6 months. We got on really, really well. But I would say he was a bit older than I was, and he was quite evolved. He was comfortable being a Virgo. He loved it. He would say, look, I'm boring, honey, but this is how I am. He liked to read books. He was very intelligent. I think his Mercury was also in Virgo. You know, he articulated himself exceptionally well. Now, what I appreciate, but what I don't like, which is weird, is Virgos are brutally honest, and I find them to be way more honest than Aquarius and way more honest than Sagittarius. And it's based on Virgos are honest to strangers, to children. All right, to humans, to anybody. Aquarius are honest to people that they know. They kind of will withhold their true honesty to strangers. They won't say exactly how they feel, whereas Virgos do that. Saggies are honest, but they're honest in a laughy, jokey type of way. So it's not really that honest like a Virgo. Now, when I was dating this guy, he said to me that he cheated on me with his ex-girlfriend.
Well, that's why the relationship didn't work, because he cheated on you. Not because he was a Virgo. So that's what happened. He cheated on you, and then you broke up with him, right?
I forgave that like a fucking rug, right? But the second time he said that he cheated on me with a girl outside a club, and he called me and told me all of this. The second time I was out.
Now that is something that you will never have to worry about with me. One thing I will never, ever do is tell on myself. If anything, I'll let you know before I cheat. It's about to go down.
But the point is, Virgo men are extremely honest with you, and I appreciate that, but it's how it's delivered. There isn't much consideration for how they deliver their honesty. It's just, well, this is it. Deal with it. You know, this is what happened. This is how I feel. I hate your hair. I hate this about you. Whatever it is, they're very honest in how. They're just very honest people. Now, Virgo men like to pick up on your insecurities, and they just can't help it. All right, you feel like you've got a big belly today. You feel bloated. You know, your hair's a mess. You know, these things that you know, but you really cannot be bothered. Or you might have a crooked tooth that you're insecure about. A Virgo man will pick up on this shit, and he will tell you how he feels about how you look. And I find Virgo men to have quite a quirky look about them. So although he might be dressed in a suit or looking really smart all the time, there'll usually be something very unusual or different about his look. He may have a nose ring. He may wear a colourful tie with his smart suit or bright coloured socks. I always use that as an example because I know a Virgo like that. But this is how I would describe a Virgo, right? But yeah, back to him making you perfect. Virgos like to pick on your insecurities to make you perfect to them. In other words, for example, when I met my Virgo ex when I was like 18, right? I used to wear trainers, I used to wear tracksuits, I used to dress like a tomboy, and that complemented the sign that I am. That's a hint, right? But I like to dress so I'm comfortable, and he didn't like that. So he would say, and I wasn't evolved back then, and he would say to me, look, honey, you need to dress like a woman. Like, come on now, like, you're 18, dress properly. So he made me put on some shoes, put on a cute little dress, and he loved it. And this is what Virgo men like to do. They like to make you perfect in their eyes. And I dated a Virgo, just literally a year ago. And the amount of times I was accused of cheating, I never cheated on him, but he never trusted me, and he let his insecurities kind of block his blessings. They're almost like self-destructing people because they overanalyze everything. They analyze themselves, their relationships, their partners, and they do too much thinking.
Yeah, well, I think you're overthinking this astrology stuff, and you're blocking your blessing because I'm trying to take you out on a date in a fucking spaceship, and all you keep telling me is a bunch of stuff that doesn't even describe me, but you use it as an excuse not to date me. And that's pretty shallow, Dr. Honey.
You can't tell me that because I'm the sign that I am, and I don't do what anyone tells me to do.
I'm not telling you what to do. I just want to take you on one date.
I don't date Virgo men. I'm pretty sure you Virgos have sat there and picked out on loads of things about me. You know, why is her eye makeup like that? Why is her hair a mess like that? Why is this? Why is her cushions creased? These things are going to bother you, but I don't care, all right? Because you guys would not want to date me, neither would I.
Hello, Dr. Honey. That didn't go well. So apparently, women get involved in relationships, and if they don't go good, any other guy that has the same sign as their ex-boyfriend is doomed right from the start. But what if you turning down the love of your life based on some star sign bullshit? There's gotta be some women out there that don't believe this crap. Oh yeah. Call Sanji.
Calling Sonji.
Hello.
Sanji, who am I glad to talk to you? I've been having such a hard time trying to find a date because I'm a Virgo, and apparently all women think Virgos are assholes. What's so funny?
It's all for entertainment. Doesn't mean it's all true. Doesn't mean it's a lie either. I'm just saying.
Oh, please don't tell me you believe in this astrology stuff too.
Okay, well,
God.
First of all, Mr. Virgo, they say that you are untrusting and overly critical to yourself and to others. You know, perfectionist. You ain't ever satisfied. Something always needs to get tweaked. It's always almost perfect for you. Y'all know that's kind of like pain in the ass, right? I mean, you know, hey, listen, nobody's perfect, including you. It's nice to want it though, I get it. You know, I'm a Virgo rising, I get it. But sometimes you need to like chill and just enjoy it. But they say not possible with you, Mr. Virgo.
Yeah. What else they got to say about me?
You're just too damn judgmental about everything.
Nope, that's not true either. At least not
everything. including yourself. So, I mean, at least you include yourself. You ain't walk around here thinking you perfect like Mr. Libra.
Now you bringing the Libras into this? They ain't even do nothing.
Like, you overthink everything. Y'all need to stop that. You're going to end up with dang on ulcer, some kind of neuroticism. You need to chill. Just don't.
Chill? I need to chill? Why do I have to chill?
Because nobody's good enough for you. So you can't be bothered with their imperfections because they're all slackers.
What are you even basing that on?
That's what they said about you.
Nope, that's not true either. At least not about me. What else you got?
That you're controlling and untrusting because nobody can do it good enough except you. So you got to control everything. But you know what that makes you come off as? A nag. You are the nag of the Zodiac.
And you can't possibly believe all this stuff is true. I mean, the last Virgo you dated, did he fit all of this bullshit?
I don't know. You know, I've never dated a Virgo man, so I don't know. Probably because I heard about y'all. Y'all too overly critical and judgmental, and we at the box. Bop. So I'm not for all that criticism.
That's not true. I'm a weed smoker. I don't care what you do as long as it doesn't bother me. And how many people fit that description that aren't Virgos?
But you know what? Wait a minute. Hold on now. I'm not going to just let them hang that on you, Mr. Virgo. You know, even though I've never dated any Virgos. I mean, just to say that you out here and you gotta roll one, smoke one, drink some because of your perfectionism. That's not true. That's not just Virgos, because I know some drunk ass Libras and Cancers. I sure do. They lit all the time. So I'm going to take that off you, Mr. Virgo. I mean, they said you are most likely to, but, you know, I think that goes across the board. So I'm going to retract that one. And you're just going to keep your extremely harsh, too rigid, controlling, nagging ass.
But Sanji, none of that stuff is even true about me. Listen, let me just take you on one date. That way you can get to know me. And
okay, well, I'm gonna go think about some more Virgos, and I'm gonna get back.
Just one date, so I can prove to you I'm not like that.
Again, Mr. Virgo, love you, boo, but lighten up. How about that? Take care.
Wait,
Bye.
Sanji. I can't believe this. Is this really what society has become? Do women think that they can judge a man based on the time of year he was born or some star chart before they even get a chance to know you? Martin Luther King once said, "Judge not a man by the zodiac, but rather on the content of his character."
That is not true.
Something like that. The point is, astrology teaches people to be prejudiced, to judge someone before you even get a chance to know them. This is exactly and precisely what we get angry at racists for doing. So if you do it, that makes you no better than them. I don't know about this whole Zodiac stuff. I'm gonna have to look into it a little bit further. Alicia, call Neil.
Calling Neil DeGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, you're a personal astrophysicist.
Yo, Neil, I need to borrow your expertise. I need to know more about astrology, like who discovered it and stuff.
If you're into this stuff, then you should just know.
That's the thing. I'm not so much into this stuff. I always just rejected it as pseudoscience. But I need to know more about it. Tell me everything you know about astrology, please, Neil.
So, holding aside all the stuff that is summarily rejected, you can imagine long ago where if you're born in the spring or the summer or the fall or the winter, as a child, you would have different access to nutrients. So if you're born like the wrong time of the year, you might be a sickly child, and because the food was already eaten. So you can imagine asserting before anyone knew anything about nutrition. Think about this. We take vitamins because we studied vitamins. There are Nobel Prizes for each one of those vitamins that were discovered. They knew some foods kept you more healthy than other, but go far enough back, you would say, oh, I was born in February when the sun was over here, therefore I will have this personality trait. So you can imagine nature and nurture come together that could influence what kind of a person you might end up being. But that has nothing to do with the sun, moon, and stars. It has everything to do with the nutrition of where and when you were born. But let's go a little further back. You can imagine, here you are, let's go back to Egypt in the star Sirius. Because Sirius, the star Sirius, the dog star, is visible at this time of day, right in the early morning, the Nile will rise.
So astrology is based on the Earth being flat in the center of the universe and stuff.
Yeah, you're at the center of all this moving.
It's egocentric.
And it's still egocentric. People saying, "Oh, Mars is in retrograde, therefore my life is affected by that."
Yeah, it sort of helps people feel special. I get it.
And this is part of the cosmic perspective where you learn, no, the universe is not about you. And the sooner you learn that, the less your ego will interfere with your domination over others that you might feel that you deserve.
So basically you're saying astrology is all hubris and human imagination, but how can I explain that to someone who really believes in it?
This is what you do. Get a classroom of people, a group of people who are believers, and don't do what they want. This is what you do. Go to the horoscope that day, pluck one at random, read it to that audience and say, whose horoscope did I just read? 2/3 of the hands will go up, okay? Which we know is not how that's supposed to work. It should really be 1/12 if it had any sense at all. That's the simplest test that I know to demonstrate to someone that it's just bunk, other than the rational arguments that you might spend time offering. Like where the sun was when you were born doesn't match where it was 2,000 years ago when this got laid out. Not only that, one of the constellations is not even mentioned in the Zodiac. Ophiuchus.
Oh, for who? What?
Ophiuchus. The sun, after passing through Scorpio, spends more time in Ophiuchus than it did in Scorpius. So if you thought you were Scorpion, you're probably Ophiuchian, and all Ophiuchians and Scorpions are currently Librans. That's how that plays out.
So wait a minute, everybody's zodiac is off? People who have the wrong zodiac sign, they don't know it?
So Earth on its axis precesses, we're spinning tops, and it does that every 26,000 years. It turns out, as it does this, the correspondence of your zodiacal constellation with the month shifts. When the constellations were laid out, it's been about 2,000 years since that has occurred. And so all constellations have shifted relative to anything your astrologer is going to tell you.
So you're telling me that the Earth's precession makes the sun rise in a different place than it did 2,000 years ago when the zodiac was created. And there's a 13th zodiac named Ophiuchus that no one's accounting for? How come people believe in this stuff so much?
So I had a deeper awareness of this recently when I learned that people take the names of things very seriously. Okay? The names mean things to people, regardless of what the thing actually is. Okay, so now, the ancients looked up and they saw these stars and they put their culture on the sky. So there's centaurs, there's a centaur archer, so it's Sagittarius. We have Orion the hunter. We have Taurus. We have sea serpents. We have rivers. We have stuff that mattered to people back then. Okay, we have Aquarius. What is it? What's the water bearer? Oh, the water bearer. That must mean that when the sun is in Aquarius, it's going to rain more on Earth. Why? Because the ancients called it the water bearer. All of a sudden, the name reigns supreme over the fact that it is a random set of stars, widely separated in space, that don't even look like people holding a pitcher of water. Of the 88 constellations, about 6 of them look like what you're told they're supposed to look like. The rest require opium-induced imagination to establish what they are. So they all have names. Then you go to the astrologers' tables, and they say, oh, this is the rain sign, or this is a drought sign. And they take the names of things, and those names are what they interpret based on where the moon is, the sun is, where the planets are, and whatever the angle configurations there are. And each angle has a certain latitude over which they'll count it as a hit rather than as a miss. And so this gives extraordinary capacity of the astrologer to tell you what's going on in your life.
So it's all bullshit.
So you mean, so Shakespeare knew from the beginning. There's a great quote from him. He says, what is it? The fault lies not in the stars, but in ourselves. So every experiment you do to test whether your personality is influenced by things that are cosmic, any control test you do, it just fails. So why do people still believe it? I'll tell you why. Because if you, when you go to your horoscope in the day and you say, oh, what are you, Scorpio, you go straight to the Scorpio and it's written, okay, that's going to happen to me. You should try it differently. Do the following. Get someone else to pick one of those horoscopes at random and read it to you. Best do it in an entire room. I've done this experiment. Yeah. I picked one at random, read it to a room of 100 people, and I say, did I just read your horoscope? 70% of the hands went up. Well, no, of course, it's not 70% of them. So you realize that they're written in such a way that you can find the meaning that you know and need for yourself because of the way each one of those horoscopes are written. And you lift up the things that are most applying to you, and you suppress in your mind the things that don't apply, and you walk away thinking that they're speaking to you because of what time of year you were born. And we've known about this. It's a psychological effect where we remember the hits and forget the misses. Like, you pick up the phone and say, I knew it was you, Grandma. And, well, how about all the times that you thought it was her and it wasn't? Those don't get remembered as an incident in your life. They get rapidly forgotten. We only remember the hits. And so you can end up thinking that you're psychic or you have special telepathic powers. So we are susceptible to all manner of psychological, to be fooled by our own brain, by our own sense of what is real and what is not. And so, but on top of that, there are 13 constellations in the sky, not 12. That the sun passes through. And in fact, the sun spends more time in Ophiuchus.
Ophiuchus?
Yeah, are you Ophiucan? Yeah, I mean, if you think you're a Scorpius, you're probably an Ophiucan, because the sun is in Ophiucan for more time than it was in Scorpius. And the entire horoscope scale has been shifted by 1 month over the past 2,000 years when it was first laid out, because Earth is wobbling on its axis and changes the relationship of the sun and the sky against the constellations. So most Scorpions are Ophiucans, and all Scorpions and Ophiucans are currently Librans. That's just the facts. But none of the horoscopes tell you that, because they're making money off of it. It's
Wait,
$1 billion.
Neil, shut up. I just realized something. If this is true, then I'm not a Virgo. If I'm not a Virgo, then Sanji will go out with me. I gotta go. Alicia, call Sanji.
Calling Sonji.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Hey, Sanji, great news. I just talked to Neil deGrasse Tyson, and it turns out I'm not a Virgo after all. According to the correct star chart, I'm actually Ophiucan. Do you date Ophiucans? Call me back as soon as you get this. I'm on the way back to Earth now. She'll call back. You think she'll call back? Alicia, activate warp drive.
Activating warp drive. Warp drive failure due to inertia canceller malfunction.
What? Inertia canceller? Alicia, can you diagnose the inertia canceller, please?
Your inertia canceller is fractured and must be replaced in order to activate warp drive.
How much is it to replace our inertia canceller, Alicia?
A new inertia canceller costs $2,500,000 Earth dollars.
Where am I supposed to get $2.5 million?
Ask your YouTube viewers to pitch in.
What?
You need the money.
How dare you, Alicia, solicit to my audience? They know that they can donate to the channel via the super chat. They also know that if they like the show, they can support it and help it grow at patreon.com/Kweli Kush. I'm not going to solicit to them. They already know that all of these links are in the video description. How dare you? How dare you?
Excuse me for trying to help your broke ass.
Well, if we can't use the warp drive, how long till we get to Earth?
T-minus 13 minutes to Earth.
13 minutes? Alicia, I'm streaming live on YouTube right now. These people aren't gonna sit around for 13 minutes and watch me fly through space.
You could teach your viewers about astrology.
Well, I don't really know much about astrology. We just learned everything I know about astrology together. You're hooked up to the blockchain. Why don't you tell them about astrology for me?
It's like I have to do everything around here. Astrology is a belief system that originated in Babylon far back in antiquity, with the Babylonians developing their own form of horoscopes around 2,400 years ago. Then around 2,100 years ago, astrology spread to the eastern Mediterranean, becoming popular in Egypt, which at the time was under the control of a dynasty of Greek kings. Astrology predates the science of biology. Astrology predates all of modern science, and that is precisely the reason why astrology is not science. This ancient superstition developed before humans were aware of the actual state of the universe. It was once believed that the path of the planets as seen from Earth was a god-changing direction. It is now understood that the retrograde of planets is due to the visual effect of one planet passing another in their respective orbits. Likewise, the constellations do not have any true meaning. They are simply constructs of human imagination, like playing connect the dots with stars thrown about at random. Some constellations were created to serve as mnemonic devices. For example, the water signs were named to remind humans of stormy seasons, and Virgo was imagined to have a sheaf of grain, to remind humans of the harvest. These ancient humans lacked understanding of the workings of the forces in the universe, thus they largely searched for meaning. As a result, these mnemonic devices had mystical connotations added to them by later generations. These beliefs have been shown to be false ever since Galileo invented the telescope. However, many humans still perpetuate the superstition of astrology due to scientific illiteracy. Many humans mistake astrology for astronomy. Astronomy is a real science that studies everything outside of the Earth's atmosphere, such as planets, stars, asteroids, galaxies. Astrology, on the other hand, is the belief that the positioning of the stars and planets affect the way events occur on Earth. There are currently about 10,000 working astronomers on planet Earth. Precisely 0 of them believe in the Zodiac. Ask your audience what they think about that. You will be hard-pressed to find real scientists who believes in astrology. In order for something to be considered true science, there must be a way to conduct an experiment and collect evidence that supports its validity. Many experiments have been conducted to test the validity of astrology. The evidence produced from such experiments is always negative, and this proves astrology to be false. For example, there is an astrological experiment that is regularly conducted in some college classrooms. Refer to the following video.
Shirla, did you pass that back? Wendy?
Per an astrology test, each student was given a detailed horoscope. They were told it was drawn up by a professional based on information they supplied about when and where they were born. But the facilitators had a trick up their sleeve.
Actually, these horoscopes were not quite what they appeared to be.
I'd like you to share something with me, if you'd be so kind, just with a show of...
I asked the students to grade them for accuracy on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the most accurate.
How many gave it a 1? Let's see a show of hands. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we scored pretty highly with this then. Let's do a little experiment. You've got your horoscopes right in front of you. Take them in your hand like this and hand them over your shoulder to the person behind you. Okay, everybody? And the guy at the end down there, you'll have to come up to the front, because these people in the front don't have one now. Okay? Everybody change them around. Everybody's got a... Open up somebody else's horoscope and read it carefully, please.
What a surprise. They had all received the same horoscope.
James Randi, who holds $1 million for anyone who can prove the supernatural exists, also conducted a televised challenge in which an astrological analyst was put up against a technical analyst. The astrologer claimed that he could predict which stocks would bring the most profit. Refer to the following video. This is James Randi. He has dedicated his life to debunking supernatural claims like astrology, psychic power, and but these experiments do not compare to the ultimate proof that zodiac signs are not real. Twins. Twins are born in the exact same location, within seconds of one another, and have identical star charts. Yet they have very different personalities, traits, and sometimes get separated shortly after birth, and lead a completely separate life. If zodiac signs were real, then we should expect twins to experience very similar events in life, even if they are separated after birth. This does not happen, therefore zodiac signs are not real. Perhaps your audience is still not convinced. One can test their own horoscope by reading them from 10 different sources instead of just one. If horoscopes are true, then they should be similar horoscopes, and not contradict each other. Such a simple test can prove to anyone willing to look that horoscopes are deceitful scams sold by media companies, bringing in millions of dollars in revenue each year. Horoscopes claim to be predictions, but they are often written as extremely vague instructions as to what someone should do that day. This is dishonest pseudoscience. And you don't just have to take my word for it. Listen to what some world-renowned scientists have to say about zodiac signs. This is Carl Sagan, an astrophysicist and author of the book Cosmos. I've taken the liberty of putting a link to the free audiobook in this video's description.
Influences your future. A few thousand years ago, the idea developed that the motions of the planets determine the fates of kings, dynasties, empires. Astrologers studied the motions of the planets and asked themselves what had happened last time that, say, Venus was rising in the constellation of the Goat. Maybe something similar would happen this time as well.
Bill Nye, a famous scientist most known for his TV show Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Wait for your birthday, then stay up all night and watch where the sun rises. It will pass in front of one of the 12 constellations of the Zodiac. They say I'm a Sagittarius. So on my birthday, you might expect the sun to rise in the constellation Sagittarius. And it did. 2,000 years ago, when the Babylonians made all this up. But it doesn't now. In the last 2,000 years, the Earth has wobbled like a top. So now on my birthday, the sun rises in Scorpio, not Sagittarius. So maybe you'd have to be a Capricorn to be a Sagittarius, and Scorpios would have to be Libras. See, astrologers are off one full sign. In 2,000 more years, they'll be off 2 signs. But they don't seem to care. So, in these reflective moments, I ask myself, am I a fun-loving Sagittarius or a sexy Scorpio?
Here, look at this. Here's 2 different newspapers published in the same city on the same day. Let's see what they do about astrology. Suppose you were a Libra that is born between September 23rd and October 22nd. According to the astrologer for the New York Post, compromise will help ease tension. Well, maybe. It's sort of vague. According to the New York Daily News' astrologer, demand more of yourself. Well, also vague, but also pretty different. It's interesting that these predictions are not predictions. They tell you what to do. They don't say what's going to happen. They're consciously designed to be so vague that it could apply to anybody, and they disagree with each other.
We selected 20 people at random. We asked them to read that week's horoscope for Capricorn, but as a test, we said it applied to their own star sign. Astrologers say
astrology can be tested by the lives of twins. There are many real cases like this. One twin is killed in childhood in, say, a riding accident or is struck by lightning, but the other lives to a prosperous old age. Suppose that happened to me. My twin and I would be born in precisely the same place, and within minutes of each other, exactly the same planets would be rising at our births. If astrology were valid, How could we have such profoundly different fates?
Planets in the
how
signs
would
of the
it work?
zodiac.
This is what you keep coming back to ask me. How could it possibly work?
Yes.
And I've told you, I don't know. It's a deep, dark mystery.
How could it possibly work? How could the rising of Mars at the moment of my birth affect me, then or now? I was born in a closed room. Light from Mars couldn't get in. The only influence of Mars which could affect me was its gravity. But the gravitational influence of the obstetrician was much larger than the gravitational influence of Mars. Mars is a lot more massive, but the obstetrician was a lot closer.
I believe astrology misleads the public, denies scientific progress, and belittles our universe. There's a far richer way of looking at the cosmos. Astronomy is a triumph of the human intellect, a real science, constantly enriched by new evidence.
The desire to be connected with the cosmos reflects a profound reality. We are connected, not in the trivial ways that the pseudoscience of astrology promises, but in the deepest ways.
So, according to the experts, astrology was made up 2,000 years ago by the Babylonians, has no merit in reality, and it promotes prejudiced thinking. This is a major problem in the black community because so many people believe in it. I got to go spread the message to the rest of the thugs and hope I can get this through to them. This isn't going to be easy. I'm going to have to get creative. We're going to get right back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. But first, please take a moment to hit the like button.
Push the button.
If it's your first time here, hit the subscribe button.
Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
If you're already subscribed, make sure you hit the little bell icon. That way you get a notification every time we post a new video.
Push the goddamn button.
Push the goddamn button.
You heard what she said.
Now approaching planet Earth.
Astrology. Astrology is, the movement between the stars and the planets and how they say that affects people's personality. So basically, everybody don't agree on this, which is why I want to talk about it. But by the end of the episode, I want to get to a consensus of whether we all think astrology is real or fake, or valid or not valid, or useful or not useful.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Right on.
So before we get started, Mr. Cruz.
Yes, sir.
You know your zodiac sign?
I do. Yeah, I'm a Scorpio.
What about you?
I'm a Taurus.
They say I'm a Virgo.
They say I'm a Virgo.
That's what they say.
Right on.
So, you think that you being a Taurus is reflected by your personality or your experiences?
Yeah, actually, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. But I think that the thing that it's crazy that you brought that up, because it's like I have worked to eliminate most of the flaws that I would normally have being a Taurus. So being stubborn and like always having to have my way, or not being able to see others' point of view and concede to whatever, better argument there may be. Like I've had to go through that, you know what I'm saying? So in the end, I think that, for me, I was like, I wanted to work on those flaws, but a lot of my strong traits and the traits that I have, like leadership and loyalty and everything like that, I think that definitely falls in line with who I am as a person. So yeah.
So you sound like you studied astrology before.
I've studied myself, and if I'm in a relationship of some sort, whether it be a familial relationship, or whether it's a friendship, or whether it's actually love, or like a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, I have like looked at my partners occasionally and seen if they are true, with the way they've been acting or the way they carry on or whatever. But for myself, I've definitely looked at Tauruses and looked at that quite a bit to see if I fit into that category. And if there's negativity, then what can I do to change that? You know what I'm saying? To make me a better person all around.
What about, you say you're a Scorpio?
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice like things that they say Scorpios are or have that, you know, fit you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the main thing that's associated with Scorpios is like the sexual side and being kind of hypersexual. And I mean, I've always kind of felt that way personally, but also the idea behind the Scorpio is like, it looks like a small animal that can't really do any harm, but can kill you, you know, if you get too close or do the wrong thing to it. So, Scorpios are also kind of like mysterious creatures or mysterious people, or supposed to be. So a lot of the things that they describe about Scorpios I have kind of subscribed to a degree. But I mean, I don't read like my horoscope every day or anything like that, but I can say, you know, a lot of what they have said or they say about Scorpios definitely works for me. What about you? Would you say?
Right.
I'm a Virgo. I should say they say I'm a Virgo. I don't believe in astrology.
Okay.
So I don't think that it reflects me. So I never really looked into it. So I don't know what they say about Virgos, if it fits me or not.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I meet somebody, pretty much, not every time, but you know, certain people that you meet, the first thing that come out their mouth is, "What's your sign?"
That's true.
And I tell them, and then they'll tell me, "Oh, you this and you that." And sometimes I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of am." Sometimes I'm like, "Nah."
Yeah, not really. Yeah.
But I did begin to research as part of starting this podcast. The new thugs. The N is for nerdy. The E is for enlightened, and the W is for wish a nigga would. Cause just cause I'm a little nerdy don't mean that I'm not from the streets.
Right, I ain't gonna get with the shit.
Right.
But that's the whole point of the podcast, is to make people that are less inclined to look into scientific things to start looking into those things, because they really are interesting. So I started looking into astrology, and I learned some things that made me doubt it more, because I always just took it for granted that it was real.
Right.
Because people ask you like, "What's your sign?" and everybody seems to believe it and everything. So I just always took it for granted that it was real, but until I started researching it, and I found out when it was created. Like, for example, 2,400 years ago, astrology started, and it was created by the Babylonians.
Who were the Babylonians?
The Mesopotamians. So that's like modern day Iraq and Iran area.
Okay. They created astrology.
Right. And it was considered a real science until about the 18th century, when science got more advanced and they started to realize that the planets, because the astrology is based on the Earth being the center.
Right.
And then they realized that it wasn't the center. And then it just really doesn't make sense.
The Earth being the center of the universe.
Whoa. Yeah.
That is interesting. But I think that we have to go back to that point, because only a very, very, matter of fact, I could probably count them on both my hands and toes, you know what I'm saying, feet, how many people actually know the truth. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so when you get into astrology, that whatever it was could actually be 100% true. You know what I'm saying? Because what we have known as science and everything else that has come after that has been told to us. Like, I've never ventured out of space, so I don't even know what that shit look like.
I feel you. But this been kind of told to us too, the astrology. But
True that too.
Do you think it would be ignorant to assume that Earth is the center of the universe?
I don't think. I think not to assume that. It depends on.
I think it's a chance.
It depends on what type of person you're talking about. If you're talking about a person like in modern times that has access to telescopes and the internet and all these other scientists that dedicated their life to studying the stars and stuff, then yeah, I would say it's illogical to think that. But like somebody that who lived thousands of years ago, I think that would make perfect sense because that's what it looks like. It's going off of perspective. Your perspective is that the Earth is the center because it looks like
right. It made sense back then,
and everything else is moving.
Right.
But that's just your perception of it. That's not really the case. Like they say, Venus governs Taurus, but we know now that the stars that make up Taurus, the closest one is 30 light years away, and the furthest one is 3,000 light years away. So it's these vast distances between those stars, and we know that Venus is itself governed by the sun. It's not governing anything. So just the whole mind frame that made up the astrology is false. And like what you were saying with the scorpion, they name those things, but that's just humans naming stuff in the sky.
True.
So
this looks like a scorpion. That looks like
and
a bull.
Does it really look like that? Most of them don't.
They oblong as shit. Like you really gotta squint.
Most of them don't.
Close one eye type shit. Yeah, that's a good point.
So I was scouring the internet, so I learned some things on there. And some people say that there is science behind astrology. But the most of it is, for example, that stars and planets have influence on humans and their affairs. So people can read horoscopes and tell the future of a person based on the position of the planets,
right,
and stuff like that. But if it's real, if it's true, we should be able to test it, right?
I mean, I would say this: if it's real, if it's true, I don't think there is any test that you can do. I think you just feel it, you know it. It's something that it's innately within you. Like people can do all the tests they want to, but if you know, like don't get me wrong, you could be stupid on some stuff. But again, that goes back to what we were taught and what we were told is to make sense. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know, man. That's a slippery slope, bro. Because like, if you really trying to say that this is like real or fake or whatever, I mean, I don't know, man. It's a feeling. It really is a feeling, though.
I mean, but at the end of the day, like, think all of these things are man-made concepts. So, like, you know, we only have as much knowledge as we have. So when you look at people who came up with the concept of astrology, they were only using what they knew, which was that we are quote unquote still and the sky is moving around us. Right. Thus, we study this and come up with concepts to try to explain the things we don't understand.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like 70% of people who could read any horoscope and it worked for them. Right? So that's whether it's built for a Taurus or built for a Scorpio, like they can go back and read it, and just because of the way it's worded, it works for your life. You're like, huh, I was going through that too. But it just so happens that you subscribe to the one that you were placed in.
Yeah.
So it's like a scam, isn't it?
But what is it really? Who gains from it? Like whoever
they make millions of dollars off of these horoscopes. That's who gains.
But I would tell you this.
The newspaper company, media company, that put them out.
But what did the Babylonians gain from it?
They thought it was real.
Exactly.
But
so you're saying they're just taking something they know it's fake now and just pushing it because it makes money and people subscribe to it.
But I'm gonna tell you, like in my experience, it is about as real as a fortune cookie. Like to me. And the reason I say that is because like the universe gives you messages at certain times that you know are meant for you. So like I don't check my horoscope every day, you know what I'm saying? I don't come across, like I got this thing on my phone, it's called Notes or Notes from the Universe or something like that. And like it'll give me a daily whatever, and the universe will like have a message and it'll be like in a letter. So it'll be like, Dear David, blah blah yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Some witty something other at the bottom of the universe. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, cool. But I don't read them every day. I find myself reading them every day. But I feel like if you get caught up into astrology, you'll start to live your life according to astrology. You will be looking for the things that the horoscope is telling you. Now, if you happen chance upon it and you just are like somewhere and then you see a bunch of horoscopes while you waiting in line at Starbucks, or you waiting to get your food and you're like, oh, let me read this one. And it's like, oh, okay, Taurus. And then you start thinking about your day. Most times I've been at that point where I've been like, oh, damn, this shit did really happen. And yeah, you could stretch, you could pull, you can kind of twist your, you know what I'm saying, whatever to be right. But sometimes I feel like real shit, that shit can be like, it's just the universe speaking to you whenever it chooses to. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as you don't live by the horoscope, you won't die by the horoscope. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are things about that fall true, but there are also things that are false. So I know not to pay full attention to those things. You know what I'm saying? Or make those things rule or govern my life.
What if I told you that you actually were not a Taurus?
Okay. That would be also interesting because I do find traits of myself in other
what if I told you that you were not a Scorpio?
I would be amazed, and I'll be right back.
Right on.
Good. Yeah, I'm not a Virgo.
Right on. So what are we, my brother? If I'm not a Taurus, what am I then, nigga?
Let's see. But it turns out that because of something called precession, the Earth is on its axis, and as it rotates, it creates like a 10,000 year cycle of the stars. That it takes 10,000 years to go from one age to the next.
Oh, okay.
So you're not a Taurus, you would be an Aries.
Bad. Like at this point in time, I'd be in Aries. Like back then, I would have been a Taurus.
Right.
But by this time, by 10,000 years that have passed,
astrology, when they made it up, that's where the sun was and the stars.
Right. And now that shit's changed. Well, you probably go back one. You just basically go back one. Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm saying if this is real, you are a Libra. Yeah. Because that's where the sun is now.
Wait, did you flip then? Because if I'm an Aries just went back one. Like,
exactly.
So then he is Scorpio. Yeah, Libras are right before Scorpios, bro. Whoa. Yeah. I think that's the dopest part about, you know what I'm saying, like believing in all of this stuff, because like no matter what you think, I won't even say believe, because you may not necessarily fully grasp onto any one concept and then ride with that shit, but like whatever you think about the most. Put most of your effort into as far as governing your life or what you're about to do. You know what I'm saying? I think that is what drives you every day. And it may be astrology. It may be well, I hate to say it, but it may even be religion. I think for a lower class of mind, religion is perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's something that is high enough for them that they can't see past, and then it allows them to go from there to be able to like use that to say, okay, well, that's my saving grace. You know what I'm saying? That's my saving.
Astrology is a lot like religion, you know.
Right.
They both superstitions.
Right.
But I think at some point most people question religion, but they never even question the astrology. It's for like for some reason it gets taken for granted.
True.
And gets scrutinized the same way, almost like psychics and stuff like that. But that's another reason why I wanted to start the podcast. But to start that conversation more,
right on.
Have you ever heard of Ophiuchus?
Ophiuchus, nah.
Ophiuchus. That's the 13th zodiac, because there are 13, not 12. But for some reason, they focus on 12, and they just
that makes perfect sense. Seeing as how there was Jesus, and then there was 12 disciples, so that would make 13 individuals. You see what I'm saying? But continue. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's a good sidebar. But yeah. So while you are away, Ophiuchus is the 13th zodiac.
There's a 13th zodiac?
Yes.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So they were always 13, but they just ignored the 13th one for some reason, even though the sun is in that constellation longer than it's in Scorpio.
Wait, the sun is in Ophiuchus? Ophiuchus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Longer than any other zodiac?
No, just longer than Scorpio.
Longer than
So Scorpio is the longest one other than that?
Shortest one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
So it's supposed to not. What is Scorpio the last one? No, Scorpio's not.
As far as how long the sun is in it, yeah. I think so. I think it's like 19 days or something like that. It's on here.
Yeah, I didn't know that. But that is interesting, though.
I didn't know that either until recently, but that's why, I kind of lean towards it being on the fake side.
I mean, but that holds true with everything. Like, if we can prove, if we can go back and look at Jesus' death as being sunrise, you know what I'm saying? The sun go down for 3 days, come back up, boom. We can look at, we can tie other events in the Bible to other events in other cultures, you know what I'm saying? And they put this big mesh of things together. Not saying that it's true or false or that it matters for that matter, but it is a collection of things that has the majority of the world taken under its spell. Like, everyone is looking at the Bible. The
You need to put the password in right quick.
The Quran is the second one. Dang, you should have told me. But the Quran is the second one.
Yeah, people do adhere to the Bible a lot. We got somebody else popping in.
People definitely adhere to the Bible.
What's been on?
Good, man.
What's going on, bro?
What's going on?
Long time.
Hey, tomorrow's whole goddamn podcast going on. What's up? Nigga brought cigars?
Bro, I've been having these for like a couple months. I was like, right, I can smoke these.
Damn.
Our company for a holiday party, they had cigar rollers.
Damn. Like real cigar rollers.
Yeah, it's like some Cubans. Nigga. Like,
so somebody roll that for you?
Rolls up. Like, yeah.
Damn.
Sir, welcome to the party.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
What's the name of the show, man?
We're doing something called New Thugs. So basically, the N is for nerdy. That's me. And Lighten is the E. That's more him. And the W is for wish a nigga would. Because just because we in the books, we still in the shit too. So it's just kind of collaboration of both worlds, and we just talking about different things. But today, the topic is astrology.
Okay.
What's your sign?
A lot of ways to go with that one. I've been known to be a Capricorn. It's like, you see some zodiacs?
He said known to be.
You see some calendars, right? And it's you'll see Capricorn or Aquarius, but I think I'm more of a Capricorn for the traits.
Okay. Well, so what would he be, I guess, on the new calendar if he was Capricorn already?
Let me see. Sagittarius. And
what's the new calendar?
Well, it's not new. It's actually the calendar that it's the same calendar, but the calendar changes. But the astrological calendar doesn't account for the change.
Okay.
So now everybody basically has the wrong zodiac. You know, because of something.
Flip, kind of.
Nah, it's not flip. It would be the reason for it is because the Earth rotates on the axis.
Gotcha.
And it creates something called precession. So every 10,000 years, the sun is in a different position because of the Earth's tilt. So where the sun was when they made the astrological calendar is one zodiac sign up from where it actually is.
So you just apply the change to it. So right. That makes sense.
If you were going to adhere to it now, I think I'm probably the only one here. I don't believe in it. I think it's just crap.
Yeah.
You know? But I know that most people do believe in it. But that's another reason why we started the podcast so we could talk about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like, especially, it's mostly females You know what I'm saying? That's like heavy into it. And some of the character. One thing I will say that's factual. I don't know about y'all experience, but the Scorpio shit.
I just told him.
Nah, I mean, I have never met a female that's a Scorpio, and that shit hasn't matched up. Like they all different women, but like it's core characteristics.
I think you know what I think could be a reason for that though.
I never dated I was that male, so I don't know if them same shits. You know what I'm saying? Line up, but I just know. As far as females, but if a couple ones, some core shit. They all
the women already believe into it. I think they kind of they believe it themselves. So they've been told that them whole life. You a Scorpio, so you this, you that, and they kind of play into that.
But I always wonder certain things, and then when I read about Scorpios, it was like this makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's like I don't think everybody can just be that centralized. Even if they do see like, all right, this is how I'm supposed to be. It's just, I don't know, me personally, it's just some innate characteristics that, like, you can tell, like, this is just who they are, bro.
Before I knew about astrology, I was a Scorpio.
Yeah.
Type shit.
Man, those true words that were spoken, because Randy was like that. Like, as a female, when you talk about female Scorpios, bro, it's different. It's different with female Scorpios than it is with, like, male Scorpios.
Yeah, I feel
you know what I'm saying? Like, you can, like, we're supposed to be on the total opposite end of the spectrum, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like with me and him, it's like we could butt heads, but like there's still some kind of wisdom between both of us that says this ain't right. Let's talk about this shit for a while and feel it, and then you understand. Okay, I can let this person be who they are, and they'll let me be who I am, and we understand when we come together. We gotta function. We gotta do shit. So I think that's the most important thing. But like it's different with females because. First of all, it's different with females.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
At a baseline, nigga.
You know what I'm saying?
Different chromosomes.
And then after that, man, it's basically like when you start getting into certain signs, I think they delve more into, like, deeper into their sign than males do.
I definitely believe that.
You know what I'm saying? So they're like, oh, I'm a Capricorn, seeds, and this and that. And then so that when they feed into that, then they allow themselves to carry out those traits. We were talking earlier about letting your horoscope live or govern your life. So like you look at it every day, you like, oh man, and then if it says something first thing in the morning, it's like, oh, well, your coworker's gonna piss you off. You're gonna be looking for that coworker to piss you off.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Almost like social media, like you use it for what it is, but you don't let it use you. You don't let that shit dictate. You know what I'm saying?
Right on.
You live your life.
I think it's a good time to try a little bit of a game. So I'm gonna read out a random horoscope, and y'all tell me if y'all can tell what sign it is, or if you feel like it's your sign.
Alright.
Let's see. And this for today. It says, wandering may leave you a little bit distracted. Focusing on your work and other responsibilities may not be your strong points today. Try not to let that mind of yours wander too far off, at least 1 foot on the ground. Somehow at the end of the day, you should find the most of your tasks were accomplished nonetheless. If you wish to accomplish anything without any trouble, try doing it between 3 and 4 p.m. for best results. Wearing the color sea green will prove to be lucky. What y'all think?
I don't really know, like, the different characteristics.
I think it's a water sign.
What you say that?
Because of sea green.
So the first thing coming out is Aquarius. That's the only one that, like, I think water. It's not like the water barrier.
Of late, your mind seems to be preoccupied with a lot of issues. Scorpio. I already gave it away. They put it in there. Scorpio, make sure you do not stress yourself over things. Make much as problems are part of your life, there is no escape. So take your time and decide on what would be best for you. Take these challenging situations as lessons in life. Find practical solutions instead of trying to evade your problems. Your luckiest hour of the day is between 5 and 6. Purple is the lucky color. That sound like you?
Fuck purple?
Yeah. Yeah, I do fuss with purple though. Like slick. I can relate though to that horoscope.
you feel like yours, like the characteristics that you see in your horoscope, like match up with your personality?
Yeah, most of the time I was telling them earlier, like I feel like for me, I look at the negativities that I have, like as far as like what most things say my traits are as a Taurus, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I've worked on those, like being stubborn, you know what I'm saying, hard-headed boy and shit like that, you know what I'm saying, quick to anger, shit like that. So like I've worked on those things. It's kind of been like a give and take on both ends, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that bull is necessary. You know what I'm saying? That bull is necessary. So I don't dismiss him, but at the same time I learned how to corral him. You know what I'm saying? So it just ain't just like a bull in a china shop, bro. It's like, nigga, we in a china shop, bro. Chill out.
You don't feel right here. This environment don't work for you right now.
Chill out, bro.
We have a wild and boom, like they lose.
So when people get stupid, I don't necessarily have to react. You know what I'm saying? When I see certain things go on, or when I see certain things happen, like it used to trigger me, I'm not gonna get mad at you, bro. I'm not gonna get, you know what I'm saying?
Ways, you know what I'm saying? People got ways about themselves. So like, as we navigate through life, if we let every one of those instances like trigger us, we stress the fuck out all day, every day. You know what I'm saying?
All day, bro, and that'll be a chain reaction. Your whole day is bad.
Have you ever heard of Ophiuchus?
Ophiuchus? No, what's that?
The 13th Zodiac. So I mentioned it to them, but basically,
it's interesting. Man.
They're all 13 instead of 12. Everybody thinks they're 12 because that's what they put out.
Yeah,
but it's actually 13. It used to be 13 months too, before they changed the calendar. But so the 13th one is Ophiuchus. So that's another reason why I was saying the Zodiac get pushed back one.
Okay.
Because you got to account for the 13 instead of 12.
What does that symbolize, like, or some of the characteristics?
I have no clue, because I actually don't believe in it, but so I didn't really look that much into it.
How you spell it? Yeah, how you spell it?
Ophiuchus?
Yeah.
It's right. Ophiuchus.
Ophiuchus.
So they probably don't even have anything because they don't even recognize it. You know,
it's interesting, man. Like people's over centuries, people's perception of like months, years, like their way of life. That's
sometimes being used in astrology as 13th sign. What were you saying, sir?
No, I'm just saying like throughout time, centuries ago, like how people like had certain beliefs and ideals, and like that was like known, but like over time changed. Like some stuff carries over, some stuff is completely different. But like in that moment of time, you would bet your life like this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like even 100 years from now, stuff we believe now that like is either.
But maybe not how long we've been believing in the King James version of the
Come on, don't get something on that. I'm a slave y'all and unslave y'all. But y'all take that with y'all.
Turner style. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you know what I'm saying?
I know I just enslaved y'all, but take that with y'all.
Yeah,
Alright. It must be right, you know what I'm saying?
This one here gonna last for generations. Just wait on it.
Nah, he was in the council like, hey, put your name on that shit. Wait, if I put your name on it, they gonna know it's from you.
It's not the right one.
Nah, this shit gonna work.
It's crazy.
You know how big your ego have to be to put your name on the Bible?
That's like I'm telling you, it's not real. Like,
nah, this thing you watch. That's crazy to think about, bro. Like, you know, you making like the most popular piece of literature in history. And then I'm putting my name on it, bro. Like,
but that's almost like I would compare that to astrology, because that's kind of the way they. Except religion had the violence that went along with the indoctrination cycle,
oppression of it.
But astrology, they put it all in the newspaper, and it's like on the websites, and you can get apps on your phone and stuff.
Yeah, it's more modern now, but to your point, it's kind of
they kind of market it to you.
Yeah,
but How often do people actually research it and see, or test it?
Yeah, not often.
And by the way, just for the record, when we did the test, it was Gemini. The horoscope that I read. Yeah.
With the sea moss, sea green?
Oh, it was Gemini?
Yeah, with the sea green.
Damn, you know what? That was actually my first instinct, bro. Like,
you should have said that shit.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of meditation. It's
always funny. You remember what I was going to say?
I knew that shit too.
I was about that part of my head first, but I was like, nah. The way he looked at me,
hey,
this nigga, hey, really? Alright, bro. Yeah, man. Sure.
He said sea green. I'm going to go with water.
Nah, it had to be something more about more of a duality or something like that. Because I feel like when I think Gemini,
they have both sides, bro. Like, for real, yeah. It was something you said.
Did it mention like duality?
You said something like they were feeling some kind of way, but the way you said it meant that like it wasn't really what was really going on. It was like they were thinking that like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was like the switch was like maybe I should Gemini, but.
I think the way they write those horoscopes, it could be like I think you said it's like 70% of them match. The people. So they do these tests, and I think some colleges do it like every year. They'll have like 100 students, and they'll give them out all the horoscope and say raise your hand if this is your horoscope. Now statistically, 1/12 of the class should raise their hand if it's accurate, but it's always like around 85%. They say, "Oh, this look like mine." Then they say, "Now pass it to the left," and everybody realizes they got the same paper.
This is me.
That's one way that you can test it though, but it just goes all the way back. We already mentioned it, but to the Babylonians and just the fact that they did think that the Earth was the center of the universe and everything was meant for them. So they saw what they thought was pictures in the sky and what it meant to them. Because back then it might have made sense to believe it. Because think about it, like if you were born at the wrong time of year, you might not survive because there might not have been enough food for that winter or whatever. So they would say people that was born in these months, they prone to die early or they sickly. So it's like that type of stuff coupled with not knowing that the Earth wasn't the center of the universe and all that other extra superstition that has makes astrology.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times with the older times we think about them kind of like being like uneducated and foolish, but it's like, bro, what else was you gonna think? Like
that's
you can wrap your mind around a universe,
From that perspective,
you know what I'm saying, for 10,000 years.
That was the truth, because that's what I was saying. It seemed like the Earth is the center. If you look out there, that's how it seems. So if you ain't using any tools or instruments, that's the conclusion that you're gonna come to.
It's like, bro, we know we got rocks, we got fire. Fire the hardest thing, man. You know what I'm saying? But you don't believe. Like,
you want to rock, but ain't nothing like setting that motherfucker on fire.
Fire is like, that shit is like some mystical shit.
Yeah. But then you got the people like Plato, Aristotle, that took the time to chart the sky and realize, wait a minute, this shit don't make no sense. We ain't the same.
I'm glad you walked that up.
But that was like 3,000 years ago, which is a little bit before this. So some people knew. You know what I'm saying? But they just wasn't believed. But I think because of what we was talking about before, the religious implications of the Earth not the center, then I mean maybe we're not so special after all. And maybe, aliens might exist and all that shit. But the way they saw it, they didn't know nothing about galaxies and shit. It was the Milky Way that was the universe. And the Earth was the center of it. But it was just some people did. It wasn't like all the ancients were ignorant. Some of them knew, like the Egyptians. They obviously knew about the stars. Their landmarks was made by the stars. The Greeks, some of them knew. So
I wouldn't even say ignorant, man, because that's smart as fuck. For you to even think about something other than yourself at a point where you are like primitive, super primitive. Like, you have nothing, yet you are thinking way beyond yourself at that level to think outside of what the fuck's going on. Right. You know what I'm saying? And somebody had to sit there and see that star went around went around, came back around. Like that shit moved. Then this shit rotated. Oh, it gets big during this time of the year.
Do you think it's all curiosity for those like select individuals that remember over history? You think motherfuckers just like, bruh, they got high or whatever?
It has to be that question of how. You know what I'm saying? And that's what.
I think they were studying. They were like, we gonna figure out what the fuck this shit is or what's really going on. They were studying.
One element to that though is very important. They had the privilege to do that, I believe, as well. You know what I'm saying? You have a segment of people that had to fucking mold the fields and shit and lead the horse and do all the real work. And then you got a segment of people that's just like the more elite. It's like they can wear a robe and just look at stars and you got the freedom to just think about some shit.
And they could see a lot more because they didn't have all the trash like from the city that we
access
had.
to
So the sky was
education,
brighter to So, I mean, I would love to like go back and see what the sky looked like to an ancient Egyptian civilization.
Even when you go to the country, bro, it's like completely different.
I ain't never seen that shit. I got it.
Man, you know what they're saying, bro? You
know a house out there?
That shit.
You know that one used to stay in Abilene? You said what? A Lauren house? Oh, I ain't never been out there.
Yeah, if you ever in the country somewhere, bro, it's anywhere like the closest city is miles and miles away. Bro.
You gotta go where there's no lights. That's the point of seeing everything is that there's no street lights, there's no sign light, there's no nothing that don't turn off your headlights, all that shit. And if you get into a dark, secluded spot, bro, and you look up, bro, you're gonna see purple, blues, and pinks and all that other shit floating across the sky, bro. And it's gonna look way different than this bullshit that you see right now, bro.
I heard.
Cause it's like 50 billion of them bitches.
Yeah.
Like
that shit like when you knock up the salt, the split cell on the table, nigga. That shit just everywhere, nigga.
Hey, but like sometimes I wonder, like, what if those are cameras? What if there's some other shit going on and someone is like watching us from out there, and all of those is cameras just watching the whole world, nigga? Like, imagine how many stars there are in the
for
sky.
every person, there's a new camera that get put
Come
out.
on, son. And they light years away that we can never get to them ever.
Right.
I mean, we measure this.
No, have you been to space?
Have I been to space?
Your face.
Look at that thing been to space.
N.E.W. area?
That's all I'm saying, man.
Exactly.
I ain't never been to space, bro.
So y'all don't believe in atoms and all that either?
But I ain't never been there.
I believe that atoms.
I believe there's no coincidence.
I ain't never seen an atom.
I believe there's no coincidence that the smallest form of life and the biggest form of life is the same thing.
It's the same.
You say
as far as the nucleus, atom, electron floating around it, sun,
right?
center,
Exactly. The way, similarity.
Yeah. Those are the planets. That's just that boom, whatever that is in the middle, working the nucleus, and then that shit just has those rings around it, shit like we had in like whatever class. But
it was not a logical explanation.
If we're gonna use that analogy, then the stars are light years away because an atom is mostly empty space, and they not close together. They
that's a great point.
Yeah,
the nucleus, it's a part of it, but it's not nowhere near touching it. Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
Just like the universe is mostly empty space, right?
Yeah.
And if the scientists are wrong, then you can't make that analogy. Is what I'm saying.
If scientists are wrong,
what is the that's what I would like to see as the perfect nucleus, because I feel like that is going
perfect. There's no such thing.
I'm about to say, what's the perfect nucleus? Perfect cell or
perfect setup, whatever that
atom. The first element is hydrogen. Is one proton and one electron. I don't know if that's what you mean by perfect, but that's the simplest one.
Well, okay, maybe that's not. I guess it's like okay, if that's the case, like random ass theory is that all the planets align, boom. Once they start aligning and rotating at the same speed for however long distance, it kicks in something that boom,
some kind of something else, universal synergy.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. Whatever they have to be in, whatever order they have to be in, you know what I'm saying, or whatever to make that. But I feel like that's why, like, hey, shit's going one way or another. Maybe we are fucking with it through time teleportation, whatever. But I don't know nothing about that shit.
That whole situation is based on Earth's perspective.
Shit, but I ain't seen that shit though.
That's based on Earth's perspective though. So that only works if you adhere to the view that the whole universe is made for the Earth. It's kind of hard for me to believe that, knowing that it's billions of stars out there, like y'all said. But all the alignment of the stars, that's based on looking at it from Earth. So if the Earth is not the center, then you can't make that argument either. Is what I'm saying. So is Earth the center, or is it not? Is it all for us? Is there some meaning in seeing an alignment from Earth, or is it all just humans putting this stuff on things that we don't understand?
Yes, but it's humans trying to figure it out. It's not humans putting something on what we don't understand. It's just levels to the shit, like he was saying. It was like, hey, back then they looked at the sky and was like, there's something more. That's all they knew back then. You know what I'm saying?
They shit was flat.
They heard the shit. They like, yo, we fucked on this.
You know?
But like, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? When you start seeing them purple, blues and yellows and shit flooding across the sky, you're like, what the hell is going on up there, bro? Now you like, there's got to be something. You look past it and you can see other galaxies with your clear ass eye. You know there are other galaxies somewhere out there, and they're doing what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? However they are moving. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you know that, you see that from that point to have somebody else really analyze that shit, and for you to really be out there and kind of like, you know what I'm saying, see that spectacle for yourself, bro. You'll understand why, like, man, the first primitive person saw that shit and was like, dog, there's got to be something.
I do understand. I understand it perfectly, but I'm just saying, do we have to adhere to the same thing that they adhere to? Now that we advanced.
We advanced.
Now that we know that the stars are far away and they're not, little specks that influence us. Because how does it work? How does astrology influence your personality? Is it gravity? Because if that's the case, the closest star in Taurus is, like I said, 30 light years away. That gravity doesn't affect us at all. So how does
I think
what's the mechanism behind it?
It's crazy because for me personally, man, I feel like I started becoming my perfect Taurus at 30. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I'm glad you said that. I'm starting to feel some shit.
Bro, I'm telling you, like,
I think somebody's here for real.
I'm not.
That's talking maturity. Everybody that turned 30 had a life change.
But no. Check me out. Because when I turned 30, I still felt 22, 23. Like, that was no doubt, especially being around bro. He was 22, 23. Or no, 23, 24, something like that. So I'm like, all right, cool. But it was the idea of like, mentally, I felt like I was behind the curve. You know what I'm saying? Like, mentally, I felt like, man, I don't know, it's something I'm not getting yet. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. But let me keep coming around.
Yeah.
The reason I say that I became like a perfect Taurus at 30 was because that was when I got into intelligent design. That's when I read that book when I turned 30. There was a lot of things that happened in that time I turned 30 to August. That was like, holy shit. Like, you went through all that, bro. And then to go through all that and read that book and have a different outlook on life, period. Just to refocus myself. Like, it was a reset of my mind. It was a reset. Even if I didn't fall in line with any principles or anything that was going on or really start to do it, it made me think way outside the box now and really start to go beyond what the fuck was just being taught by whoever, whatever. And it was crazy because the way I got there was through a Christian university. I was at a Christian university and I was taking this class that they had for like people that were going to the university. Like, if you were going through whatever, you had to take this like weird ass class. But anyway, during that class they asked us to read Plato's Allegory of the Cave.
I read it. I haven't got the full meaning of it like I should. It's like
I'll break it down to you, bro. I'll break it down. So, check me out. Simple as shit. You're attached to the wall. Chained to the wall. Let's just say neck, everything else, boom. You can't move. You know what I'm saying? So there's a fire right across from you that is shining a light to a ramp that is going up behind you, right? Let's just say ramp.
Yeah.
It's going up behind you, right? So as it's going up, all you see are these figures from the shadows that the light casts, right? All three of us are attached to the wall. Can't move, can't do nothing. I know you because you're over there. I just hear your voice. I know you're over there. I know you over there. You know what I'm saying? You're on the other side.
Like me.
Always put me in that shit, man.
But we stuck. Hey, man, listen, man. We get this thing together, man. So what happens is, one day, you know what I'm saying, or so while we down there, you know what I'm saying, we change to the wall, we start naming these things because we start seeing them regularly. So
these are shadows.
Yeah, these are just shadows, but they form certain shapes, so we call them certain things.
Yeah.
Willy Wonks and Molly Mops.
Just identify.
Bullshit, yeah. But we know, hey, there goes another Willy Wonk. Hey, there goes another Molly Monk. Oh, Molly Monk's day is today. We know that.
The pointy shit is
right.
good, yeah.
We've created our own society unbeknownst to us because down there we have nothing but forward vision. So all we see are these shadows. And we all talking like, oh, did you see the Willy Wonk come through?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, so now we're like, all right, bet. One of us, one day, you get cut loose.
Yeah.
Now, thinking of atrophy and all the other shit, let's take that out of the equation. Yeah. You can move, like right now, you know what I'm saying? So you've been down there for 30 years, bro. You've been under for 30 fucking years.
Same shit.
Chained up from a baby to a motherfucking 30-year-old man. You've been chained to that fucking wall, bro. One day they let you go. You can move like you can move right now. So one day you're like, what the fuck? So you look back, you're like, what the fuck? I can go. So you start climbing up this hill.
The ramp.
You start climbing up the ramp. But when you go around, you see actual figures. You're like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
You don't know what the fuck this is, but it's still dark to you. It's in a cave, you know what I'm saying? So you're climbing up. The next thing you know, you see this bright light at the top of there, and you make your way out there.
Like in the
out
world,
there.
yeah.
When you get out there, the light's too bright for your eyes. Way
you
too bright.
You got 30 years of darkness.
You've had 30 years of candlelight.
Cave
light. That's what I'm saying. You're a cave out.
Yeah.
So when you get up there, first of all, the light is too bright. It takes you way too long. It takes you a long period of time just to get used to the light.
Yeah.
Now, when you get used to the light, you realize that there's grass, there's butterflies. This is just the shit when you look down. Just your eyes. You're not even looking up at the sky. Not even like full focus. This is just like hands on your knees, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck. You looking down, grass, flowers, bugs, dirt.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta figure that shit out. And then now when you go from there, now you get to that point where you're like, all right, cool. I'm starting to gain these concepts. So you continue to learn more. You become a sort of almost in society. You understand how this works. You're starting to transition. So you decide one day, you're like, hey, I'm going to go back down in that cave I was from, and I'm going to tell all my boys, like, we've been down there an extra, like, let's just say 4 or 5 years. You know what I'm saying? We've been down there chained up, still talking about
the same shit.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So we've been down there, you know what I'm saying, talking like, damn, what my man doing? Like, where he go at? You know what I'm talking about? So, like, you come back down there one day and you try to tell us about fucking taxes and goddamn TV shows. And like, whatever. And we're like, what the fuck is you talking about? Like, these are Willy Wonks and Molly Wonks. That's all we know. And he's like, the fuck? That's not a Willy Wonk and a Molly Wonk. That's a nigga that's carrying some shit and he's moving it up the road. Shit. Like,
you see what that was like, getting like, used to be there, like, that's all
right. The concept of this is, the thing about this is that you are, the whole thing about this is moving out of the cave, learning knowledge, gaining that information. As you move, you can't move too high. That's where the Philosopher King part came in, because you have people that understand that concept.
We're going to try and catch up.
You have people that understand that concept and understand what that's about. And then they are the ones that can govern us because they understand the full range. They understand empathy. They understand sympathy. They understand reality. They understand
all of it.
What the fuck, you know what I'm saying? You lie, like they understand all that. When you put all that together, just on any spectrum, then you can be like, all right, cool. This is what we're about to do.
Yeah.
So now you go back down there. You try to tell them. The thing about Plato's allegory of the cave was that it was you got to spoon feed the people that you're trying to bring up.
You can't just give them all the fucking...
Like, I can't go to the hood as a rich ass nigga and then try to just hand out money. That's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? But if I can find out what my homeboy's talent is and I can put him in a position with me as I'm going up, then we can all go
gradually introduce them. Then I can take you to different rooms. I can meet different people. We see this in the rap game, bro. Perfect example, most recent example,
bro.
Perfect. That's a good one too. I was gonna say Jay and Meek.
Jay and Meek.
Yeah.
Meek Mill.
Yeah. He Dream Chasers now like Rock Nation. But like I don't know who these last few years Meek has been like under Jay's wing, bro. This nigga went from like
has two and he just got the bro.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. What's cool?
Hell yeah, he just got out of Epic, bro, with this last album. Brought his way out, bro. It was multi-million.
That didn't be at the brunch. I don't think he at the brunch.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
But like, this nigga went from a freestyle lick from Philly to a teenager with dusty braids to like...
Yeah.
Who these niggas now, like...
You're right.
So, but like you said, it took wow, that's a grab. You can't just take Meek from Philly on bodies.
Y'all think Drake is jealous of Meek's relationship with Jay-Z?
Nah.
Drake got his own thing, bro.
Yeah.
He respect him, but I don't think.
I feel like he always wanted that love from Drake.
We've been going for a good little minute, y'all. Y'all want to give out y'all plug before we head out? Any social media?
Big bro, you can find me on social media, IG at OG Nasty McGriddle Cakes, O_G_ Nasty McGriddle Cakes. It's all one word. Right on.
IG Mark B Chillin'. It's pretty much the only thing I use nowadays.
Right on, that's me too.
You can find me at QualiKush.com all the time.
You can find me on IG at Cruz Freely, CRUZ_Freely, FREELY.
New music coming soon.
Shit, we got plenty of music. Whole catalog of music on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube. Search Josh Owens. First, second, third quarter. More music to come.
Alright, so guess we out of here. Holla at y'all. You know, I think it's pretty ironic that the guys brought up the allegory of the cave book. You know, in this scenario, I would be the one who left the cave and came back with new information. And they would be the one saying, no, we're going to just believe what we always believed. I still wasn't able to get through to them, even though they're the ones who brought up the whole analogy of allegory of the cave. Well, hopefully you learned something. You know, it's not bad to question the things that you believe in. You might even be surprised what you find out. Well, I guess I'm off to fight another superstition. Until next time, folks. Thanks for tuning in to New Thugs.